This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. And it reads, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon the hand of him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel in truth." Before I go any further, I'd like to, as always, give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, being Yahweh, and that of the Messiah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, though the letter J wasn't derived until the 16th century. All right, his one true name being Yahweh Shai. And there's no other name given among man whereby ye must be saved, man, as it is written Acts 4 and 12. Again, that's Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Through that name of Yahweh Shai, the mediator, we're able to reach the name of the Heavenly Father, the ears of the Heavenly Father, man. All right? And that's prophecy, man. That's prophesied that we'd return to that name, right? As we read, it is prophecy that we would leave off the ways of Esau, man, and return unto the Heavenly Father. And part of that is obtaining that name. But before I go any further, I'd like to give double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, who do her well today, and a sincere peace, love, blessing, salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect out there, doing the best to make the calling of your election sure. All right, who are able to receive these things that are needful for salvation. All right, and moving along with prophecy, man, which really we're all subject to prophecy, right? But some of us are doing what we just read here, leaving off the hand of him that smote us, man. All right, returning unto the Heavenly Father. You see, here it is, we've been taught nothing but the ways of this world, and even their governmental ideas at that, man. All right, and the reason I say that is because I have I have a couple of definitions pulled up here. This is This is the definition for democracy, which today we have, really two main governmental systems on this earth. All right, for the most part, which would be democracy and communism. In ancient times, you just had a king, and that king had all the power, man. Well, you saw we have First Maccabees, the 8th chapter, pulled up, which goes into the very beginning of a new governing system, which is the governing system of democracy, man, the birth of it, all right, which took place with the Roman Empire. This is why the scriptures talk about there being a new Rome. As it is written, the beast was wounded, the Roman beast was wounded, but yet lived, man. And you see it in the fullness of its power today, which it's only going to get worse, man, for lack of a better word. Its power is only going to get more extreme as prophecy unfolds, man. And how is that? Because he's gonna make the world bow to him by taking that charagma, man, the mark of the beast, as we went into on many previous lessons. All right, that's how he's going to get his image to be worshipped and all that, man. All right, but nonetheless, right, this definition says democracy is a system of government where power is held by the people and exercised directly by them or through elected representatives, right? So it caused the king not to have all the power, man. Basically, it gives you the illusion of freedom, all right, that the people are able to choose particular parties to represent them, all right, when putting votes on new laws and what have you, man. All right, and that's why you have the elections, right? That's why the system is set up the way it is today, beginning with Rome, right, leading up to the power structure that you see that it's in modern times, man. All right, but going on, it says, it emphasizes principles like popular sovereignty, individual rights, and the rule of law. In essence, democracy means rule by the people, right? So rule by the people, man, which, it doesn't sound like a bad idea, right? It doesn't sound like a bad idea, man, right? You get a say in it. But it's still not the ways of the Heavenly Father, man. And again, Esau set this up give you the illusion of freedom, right? When, hey, this type of freedom, man, right? We've been given the way to uphold life on this earth since the very beginning, man. All right, so that's like, here, let me grab some scriptures, man, to co-sign onto what it is that I'm saying. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6, and it reads, read verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for, right? So, hey, at the very beginning, we were given the ways of understanding, the ways of how to conduct life, the laws, the do's and don'ts, right? We were given a governing system by the Heavenly Father, man. You see, so this democracy, man, this really cuts against that, because what the Heavenly Father, what we're setting up, man, is something different. Which here you see a theocracy, right? And it says a system of government in which priests rule in the name of God. You see, and as you see down here, it says the commonwealth of Israel from the time of Moses until the election of Saul as king. You see, so before we had Saul as king, the Heavenly Father was our king, man. That's why it's a damn shame that you got these jakes running around talking about no kings, because they were the ones that fought to have a king over them, man. They didn't want the Most High to be their king. They wanted a king like the heathens. You see? And now look at you, man. You've been abused and misused by the governing systems of this world, right? And that leaves us to the other one, which is communism, man. Communism, it says, is a social, political, philosophical having trouble saying that word, man. It says an economic ideology that aims to create a classless, stateless society. So basically what it is, man, is they're trying to put everybody on one page, man, right? Everybody to everybody's pockets, right, among one another, when this democracy, right, is kind of the opposite, man. And really what it's taught us, when you think about it, and I'm not co-signing to no communism, because communism going to get destroyed too, man. All right, these are both Edomite governing systems, man. All right, the Heavenly Father is the governing system in which we will have, in which we support, in which we shall establish, man. All right, but nonetheless, right, what democracy has taught us is to fight one another, man, to claw at one another, right? That's why this American system out here, man, right? The American dream, ain't nobody's dreaming, man, because everybody's working and clawing at one another to try to get a step up, man. You got homeless out here. It's crazy, man. You see, whereas, communism, basically the government gives them what they could have according to their needs. And let's go ahead and continue reading. All right, so you still have Esau in full control, right? Even though democracy makes it seem like the people are in control, they're really not, right? But nonetheless, hey, give the people bread and circuses and they will never revolt, man. If you think you have a say, then hey, you're gonna be okay in your own mind anyway. But it says a stateless society where the means of production are owned in common and goods are distributed based on need. It is often associated with the writings of Karl Marx and the concept of a communist society evolving from capitalism through socialism, right? So, again, basically you get what you have according to your needs. And that's why Esau out here on the West, they're totally against this idea, man. They hate this idea, you see, because, it basically takes away your idea freedom out here. And really that idea of freedom is for you to, bash down your brother to be over him, right? But nonetheless, that's why the Heavenly Father has another thing planned to be set up here, man, which again is a theocracy, all right, which we grabbed the definition on earlier. But now that I read that, let's go ahead and jump to the book of 1 Maccabees, the 8th chapter, all right, so we could get a little bit more on this and, on its beginnings, really, because again, before that, all we had was kings, man, right? And this is 1 Maccabees 8:1, and it reads, "Now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them," right? And this is basically showing you how, they began to have their power on the earth, man. They began to have their power. They began to rule over all nations, right? Making particular treaties with some of them, and even taking down their own brother, the Grecians, right? As we see here on verse 9, it says, "Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried them away captives, their wives, their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their land, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day." So the Heavenly Father gave this next dominion to the Roman government, man, which is why you'll find in the book of Revelations, right, it condemning heavily the Roman beast, man, the Roman dragon, the Roman system that again would be wounded and yet lived, which this lesson isn't really so much to concentrate on it being wounded and yet lived, because I've done many other lessons on that, and many other brothers have as well. But this lesson is to, just speak about the governing systems, all right, and which do cosign into that as well. As I had said in one of the past lessons, man, when you deal with the truth, right, it brings everything together and it all begins to make sense. But when you deal with a lie, right, and you begin to tug at particular things and at threads, if you will, and the whole garment eventually will fray and fall apart, man. All right, but let me go ahead and continue. It says, let's go. Let me go ahead and jump down, man, to get the point. Yeah, this is verse 14. It says, "Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple, though they became the next rulers of this world, the next ion, the next age," right? None of them wore a crown, man, or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. It says, "Moreover, how that they made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered. And that they committed their government to one man every year." What do you have out here, man? The elections for the president, one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor humiliation among them. So there you go, man. So that was basically what you have. Verse 17, it says, in consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Achos, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make league of amity and confederacy with them. And there you have, right, the beginning of, what would become the what's the word I'm looking for, man? The understanding of the plot of the New Testament, man. All right, where you had Roman power, you then had 70 AD, where they besieged Jerusalem and destroyed our temple, man. All right, but again, hey, the Heavenly Father has a different end planned. It's going to go along hand in hand with the end of their society, man, and the beginning with a theocracy. All right, let me go ahead and grab a closing verse, and we'll close it there. All right, because as you may hear, I got a couple things going on, man, but I'm going to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 8, and verse 25. It says, And through his policy, in fact, we'll grab verse 24. It said, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people, being the Israelites. Right? So there's going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. Right? It says, verse 25, just like you had 70 AD, you're going to have a time of Jacob's trouble, man. Verse 25, it says, and through his policy, so you see things repeat themselves, man, even to the point that the Roman government would be back in power today as the so-called white man in power today, man. All right, your governmental system being or your beast system being America, NATO, and the EU, man. Edomites that are in power, right? And then you have your on the kick side, right? You got Russia, man, which they're also in prophecy as well. All right, but anyway, going on, it says, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace he shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but shall be broken without hand. So he's going to be broken, man. Even though he's going to be in a place of all power, to the point that he's going to cause the whole world to bow by taking that charagma, right? Hey, the Heavenly Father is gonna ultimately lead him to his destruction, man. All right, so with that being said, man, Lord willing, let's edify. Again, a theocracy is being made. Call Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Kakwadash, double honors and theologies, the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere peace, of blessings, salutations unto all you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect out there. Hey, again, man, a theocracy is what's being made. You see? A governing system in which the Heavenly Father is ruled, man, and it's going to be governed by who? The elect. All right, the elect who are raising up from the four corners of the earth as we speak, in the image of, in the countenance of all these different brothers in these camps, getting up and proclaiming the truth of the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. So again, call Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Shalom, or Abad Babal.